Hi, my name is Sudesh Conan. Today I wanted to share 5 important lessons that Ironman Elizabeth Krause taught me. Miss Krause, or Beth, as most of us knew her, was a very special person. And today I wanted to share some of the values by which she lived her life. I want to also share some photographs that I have taken over the past 20 years, 25 years since I've known her. This photograph was, of course, her in her Ironman days. You can see a very trim and determined Beth. She had this extraordinary spirit in her. Now, don't get me wrong. She was ordinary like all of us. She went through stress. She went through periods of depression. She went through periods of self-doubt. But she had this unique ability to transcend life and have these incredible experiences because of the choices she made. So let's go back to history. This is the first slide. The next slide I want to show you. This is a photograph of us. And when I first knew her, this is probably 1990. This is a bar in Madison, Wisconsin. And I was fresh off the boat, a graduate assistant at University of Wisconsin-Madison. In fact, the term that the Immigration and Naturalization Service gave us was non-resident alien. And in many ways, I must have been an alien to Beth and her friends, in my values, in my approach, in my language. But there was unconditional love from Beth. And I'm not the only recipient of this love. There are many of her students, many of her friends and family have got this unconditional love. And that made the world brighter not only for us, but for her. And it's a lesson that I carry to this day to understand that it's so important. The next slide, this is in 1994. I had already moved out of Madison, Wisconsin, but then we had a get-together in 1994. And you can see me on the left next to Beth on a blue jacket. The second lesson was push yourself. Beth came from a small town called Rhinelander, Wisconsin, which is about 200 miles north of Madison, close to nearly no big city. But she grew up with a deep sense of faith, trust, love, and determination. She always wanted to be a teacher, and she was an excellent teacher. But the story that I tell people all the time is that happened in 2004. Now, by 2004, I had finished 3 marathons. So I knew what an endurance event was. So I get an email from Beth. I'm going to say this is September 2004, saying, Sudesh, I've seen a couple of Ironmans in Madison, and I've signed up to do the next one in September in 2005. And my first reaction was, are you crazy? What's a marathon? A marathon is about 26.2 miles of running. Okay? I'd done 3 of them by that time. And I know it's pretty hard work. An Ironman triathlon is 2 miles of swimming, typically in the open water, cold waters of Lake Mendota, and 120 miles of biking, and then followed by the 26.2 miles of running, all in one day. And there's a time limit. You have to finish it in 17 hours or something like that. Now, my first reaction was to say, are you crazy? But knowing Beth was very determined, I just decided to support her. And she had challenges, believe me. She had to learn swimming all over again. Stamina, what is that? She didn't have any stamina. She had to build that from scratch. But in her own bulldog determined way, she did it. And by 2005, she had finished her first Ironman. And she gave an example of a 92-year-old lady who took care of, who lived alone, took care of, grew vegetables, pickled them, and all that. And she learned from this lady that you have to push yourself. So the next slide is the same year, 1994, with a baby. Baby and children just flocked to Beth. She had this magnetic personality, and as a teacher, you already seen all those Facebook notes about her. She had that energy and that passion. So what is lesson number 3? Run facing the traffic. And to me, it was a metaphor for facing the challenges in front of her. She never shied away from the challenges. Her biggest gripe about runners were that the runners who wore headphones and they didn't know, they were not aware of the traffic. And to me, the metaphor is, in life, she was always aware of what she was doing. She took time to enjoy the pleasures of life. If we went on a long biking trip, she took time to enjoy the beauty around Madison. So that is lesson number 3. So let's go to lesson number 4. This is a picture from 2011. We are much more older. You can see my gray hair. And Beth still had that energy. She had gone to Vietnam. She had gone to Poland. She had gone to Czech Republic. She had, different places. She was a wiser and a happier person. And our fundamental rule was, quitting is not an option. I already gave you the example of the Ironman event, how she trained for all these events. But with even dealing with cancer, she had that never say die attitude. Even when she got the diagnosis of cancer, she said, I'm not quitting. I believe in Jesus, and I will do my best. And she did fight the good fight. The next slide is the most recent one, 2013, December. At that point, we thought she had some bad case of pneumonia that was hard to cure. And her lesson number 5 is all through, is I always remember her ability to smile. I don't care how tough situations were, she always had that smile about her. So, and you can see the cross on the wall there. And Christian faith was a very important part of her, and that defined her till her dying day. And then the last slide is the slide with my family members there. She had this, you can see that energy and that love. She even wrote to me, Sudesh, every time, if I had a penny for every time I thought about you, you'd be a very rich man. And she did. She did, in spite of her busy schedule, she always found time to write to me. So I want to go through quickly the 5 lessons. First one, love unconditionally. Second, push yourself. Third, run facing the traffic. Number 4, quitting is not an option. Number 5, smile through your challenges. In fact, that's the first thing she wrote about the Ironman that she completed. She said, one of my goals was to keep smiling. And she said, I kept smiling through, except during the swim when I was being kicked on the face by a couple of people. So Beth, I think about you, and I'll think about you till the day I die and meet you again. Thank you.